Hey, you guys, happy Monday! It's Monday! I hope you had a really wonderful day today. I just got home from finishing up the day, and it was a very busy, active, fun day. We have had a beautiful day here in Detroit today. Lovely sunshine, finally warm temperatures, and today we did our food distribution under the shade of trees, which means they now have leaves big enough to cause shade. And in Detroit world, that's a big deal because we've had winter for forever this year. Just didn't want to leave. So, hope you had a great day wherever you are and have enjoyed it. So, this is day 3 of our 3-day spiritual transformation journey. I'm really so grateful that you took this journey with me. This is something that I'm starting that's new, and I want to be able, you guys have been like the first ones I've done this with, and I am very grateful that you stepped out and took the journey, and I hope you've gotten a lot out of it. I hope that your meditation practices have been memorable and meaningful. And then your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, exercise from me when I began to really sit in my head and listen and be more aware of what I was saying to myself. It really showed up how I limited myself. I was the one that was the stopping force in getting things done that I really wanted done and moving into the life I saw myself living. And so when I finally latched onto that and began to understand it and began to just throw off and renounce, walk away from, disconnect myself from those limiting beliefs, things began to really open up and momentum started to happen and propelling me forward into the things that I really did care about and wanted to do. So now the last exercise we're going to do together is about creating a plan. And so I want you to understand that in all 3 of these categories, we've done a really high top overview. And in a minute, after I talk about what I want you to do with starting your plan, I'll explain to you some more trainings that I'm offering, and you can participate in them if they're helpful and if it's something you want to do. So we'll take a lot of them. I have a lot more material than what I gave you in just this little three-day transformation journey. This is a very broad overview, and there's a whole lot more detail we can go into in all 3 of these areas. And I think for me, one of the biggest things, I think I've mentioned this in my first video, one of the biggest differences that I think has made the most huge impact in my life is focusing on my spiritual life, and not just my spiritual life for me to sit and enjoy it, but really honing in on spiritual transformation and with intention, looking at my own, what I needed and wanted, not just on a life level, but inwardly what I needed and wanted. And as I began to locate those things and then press into God, God began to show up and fill up the spaces that were empty inside of me, and to manifest love in such a way that it transformed and changed me from the inside out. And then I found that as I experienced love myself, and God began to speak over me His love for me and what He saw, how He sees me every day, it began to reshape how I saw myself and my ability to accept myself and to accept His love, which is so pure, so transformational, so life-changing. So that spiritual journey is so key, and I don't know how your spiritual upbringing was, but mine was in conservative evangelicalism, where I got a lot of education and I got a great understanding of the scripture and how to study the Bible, but I did not get these types of meditative practices, which actually for me, based on the way I'm wired, this is actually more meaningful, more meaningful expression of my faith than the years of Bible study that I did. And I minored in Bible in college. I was such a serious Bible student. I was really seeking God, and I actually found God in my meditative practices. So I really want to encourage you to continue on that meditation journey, because it is a key thing, and it's really not, in Christianity, it's really not taught a lot across denominational lines, no matter what kind of a denominational church you go to. It's just really, the mystic side of faith is really not expressed very much And that has been the life changer for me. So I really want to educate, train, and help people walk into what I've walked into that has made such a huge difference. So today we're going to talk about making that life plan. I'm going to attach a document to this email that you can download. I'll put it in a downloadable form. You'll be able to open it up, and it'll just provide a grid, a thought starter grid. Over the course of the last 10 years, even beyond that, probably the last 20 years, I have worked with some great coaches and people who have trained and have a lot of training in life planning and life coaching. And after all that I've been through and all the different things that I have, all the different tools that I have used to create a life plan, I came back to the one I've been using all the time. And that's the one I'm going to share with you. What I like to do and what works well for me, and I'm just saying it works well for me, I'm not saying it works well for everybody, but you can try it and see what you think. I look at all the different areas of my life. So I look at the spiritual side of my life. I look at relationships. Those two are at the top. Because for me, everything flows out of my spiritual life and the relationships I have with people that I love and care about. So those two things are always at the top of my list, you know. And then it goes down to career. Or if you're retired, what do you want to do in retirement? Retirement doesn't have to mean that you just relax and rest every day. It could mean a whole new exciting chapter of your life where you get to do things that you didn't get to do until then. So look at it like from a business standpoint, career standpoint, retirement standpoint. Where do I see myself in 2 years? Where do I see myself in 3 years? What do I want to be doing in 2 years, in 3 years? In my spiritual life, with relationships, in business, let's just use that as a broad category. In my relationship to the community, what am I doing to influence and bring good into my community? And am I doing everything I want to do, or are there other things I can do if I would just begin them now? So think through those areas. I think there's a couple more. I'll include them on the sheet, and then just begin to list things. Okay, don't worry about the order of them. Just like brainstorm. Just whatever comes to your mind, no matter how far-fetched it is, no matter how unattainable it may seem. In fact, the more unattainable it may seem, the more it needs to be on the list. And make your list. And then what we'll do with your list over the course of this week is we'll talk through our lists and share them with each other. And that way we can encourage each other. And what I've found is when you take that list into a group setting, other people will have ideas. So if you have a set of, you would love to go like me. I want to go to Bora Bora. I don't know why. I just want to go to the other side of the world and sit on a beach. Just say I've done it. Well, it's going to cost a lot of money to do that because I think the airfares are around $2,000. So there's a lot of money that has to come in order for me to go to Bora Bora and lay on a beach and have a wine or a cocktail and enjoy myself and say I went to Bora Bora. So I've got to look at that and say, how is this money going to come in? The other thing I want you to think about in relationship to money is that especially my generation has grown up thinking about you were grown up and trained to have a job, have a career, you did one thing your whole career. And what I'm seeing now in this new season that we're in spiritually is, and it's what's happening for me, but I see it happening for other people too. It's certainly not something that started with me. I just realized in my conversations with other people that they're doing it too. And so when I see that kind of activity, it means to me that God is moving us into a new season and opening up new opportunities. And so I want to make sure this information gets in front of you too as you think and plan about your future. If you talk to millennials, they'll talk about their side hustle. So they have a career, they have a job, 40-hour-a-week job, and they have 1 to 3 side hustles, which means they have small businesses or they do consulting work hourly and get paid for that. And they take these 2 or 3 things, but between the 2 or 3 of them, it makes X amount of money per year for them. And they use that money to do things they want to do. It's extra money. Now, it is extra work, and it is extra time that you have to spend finding that work. But when your motivation, when you come back to why you want to do this, so say if you do a side hustle and you get $6,000 a year through that side hustle, and that means you and your family can go on a really cool vacation the next year. That's all the motivation I need. That's all the motivation I need to say, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'll work extra time, or I'll spend more of my time working because I want to enjoy that vacation, and it'll be so much more meaningful if I can take all my kids with me. So finding the thing that motivates you to be able to take the challenge, to spend the time that it takes to get it done, and to create something that creates more wealth for you. So keep that in your thinking as you're doing your planning, because sometimes that limiting belief list that we go back to is, I don't have enough money. I can't afford this. It's not something my family can do. Well, if we still hold on to that belief, then we'll never do a side hustle. If we've let go of that belief, then the right side hustle could be just the ticket to go on that vacation with the family. And now I'm like, with me in particular, doing things with my kids is so motivational. A lot of the work that I've done, I've worked very hard over the last 5 years in particular, and I've done it because I see a future for me and my children that I want us to have. And that's my motivation. Every single day when I get up, every time a disappointment has come, and there have been many disappointments in this 5-year path, every new mountain, like one that we just had last week that was really, really awesome in our business. We were so excited about it. We worked really hard to achieve a goal, and we achieved it. And there was a reward for achieving it. But all of that, it comes back to what I see myself doing with my kids in 3 years. And what I see myself doing with my grown children is having a lot of fun, making up for some very difficult years that we all went together by being able to spend more time together, because I'll have more money to be able to fly us to Brit and Brit to us. And then we'll be able to meet up in places and do really cool weekend trips together that I can finance. So all of those things are in the back of my mind, constantly motivating me to write that last email, to stay up 30 minutes later, to work an hour past where I normally do, to ensure that the work that needs to get done gets done, so that we can have what I want us to have. So think in that regard, in the way that you create this plan for your own life. Once you've created the plan, then post it. And I'm not expecting that you write like paragraphs or anything. This is just bullet points for each category. Then post it on our group, our group on Facebook, and I'll include that link to that group in this email so that you can easily access it. Go in and post that so we can give you feedback on it and talk to you about it and encourage you over it, and be the support group in your life that says, yeah, you can do this. Let's go for this. All right? Sound good? All right. So those of you who have not yet posted on the Facebook group, please do. We want you involved in our conversation too. And what I'll do for this group for this week is, let's keep the conversation part. You're going to post your plan for your life for the next 2 or 3 years on the Facebook group. Let's keep the conversation going till Friday, and we can just check in every day and add comments to people's comments and enjoy the conversation. And then I will send you, on Friday, I will send you another email that details out some other online courses in consulting and personal one-on-one training that I'm willing to do and want to do with you. And you can decide if you want to keep walking down this journey in whatever ways work for you. But again, thank you so much for doing this part with me. You guys have been so instrumental in helping me get this launched, and I thank you so much for joining the journey. I thank you for the comments you've already made, for checking in when I didn't show up on Sunday. Thank you, Sue Ellen. I appreciate that. And let's have a great week this week, thinking about our future lives and what those look like, and getting rid of those darn limiting beliefs. Gosh, they're such a pain in the tuchus. All right, have a great Monday evening, and I'll see you on Facebook.